All right, let's get it started then. Welcome to another charting session. Start with Tesla. I just ran home, so I'm just going to start this quick. First, we will go into the longer term time frame. Went to the weekly on Tesla. So we got Tesla here on the weekly time frame. We had this massive run up. It went straight from like $100 straight to 900. I think Ricky was the only one talking that when it was 900, it was going to pull back to 400. I never heard anyone else say that. I did say it was going to pull back, but I didn't think it was going to be this drastic. So we went to 900. It struggled to get through 900 on the weekly. We got that big pullback with the market. Now we're just range bound. You see these two yellow lines? This is just the range of Tesla now. As long as it doesn't break out from one of these yellow lines, it's going to be in an equilibrium for a while. Especially after this huge move, it has to digest it. So it's going to stay between 745 and 540. As long as it stays inside these levels, there's no point in taking a long out term Tesla call or put, because we have to wait for it to give us a direction. Right now it's not giving us direction. On the weekly, if you see here, it's trying to defend this 540 support. So right now it might make a move back up to the top of the range, but it also might break through to the bottom. So that's why I'm avoiding long-term calls on Tesla right now. Even though it does look good, like I told you, 1-2 day moves don't mean anything in this market. We could pull back tomorrow and everyone's calls get screwed. Remember I kept telling you it was a trap? It could still be a trap. Right now it looks good, it looks bullish, it looks like it's trying to defend support with everything it's got. Good volume on the support. And we'll see if it makes another move up to 745 or if it wants to break the 540 support and die down to 379, because 379 is the next level I got on support. And we'll go a little bit closer. We'll go in the hourly right here. Hourly, we'll shut off extended hours. And yeah, it just looks fine. It looks like it's trying to defend this 540 support. It doesn't matter. None of this matters until it takes out this high right here, which is 596.18. Once it takes out 596.18, that means it changed the hourly trend. Once it changes the hourly trend, then it has to change the 4-hour trend, which is at up here. 606 would change the 4-hour trend, and then you got the daily trend, which again is just range bound until about 627. So once it takes out those three levels, then the trend is changed on the hourly, 4-hourly, and the daily, and then you can make a case for a long-term call. Alright, then we got Arvel. This one was from Option Sniper. He asked me to do this one today. You got the weekly, doesn't look great. It looks alright, doesn't look bad. What I see on this one is, let's see this one. Resistance is much higher on the weekly, so we're going to ignore that one. We'll go to the daily here, and we'll spread it out a little bit. The daily looks pretty good right here. So for the daily resistance, I would just draw it like this. Today, it went through the resistance, but it pulled back and closed underneath. So what we need to see tomorrow is we need to see it take out 1950 with volume, and then it needs to make its way up to the daily resistance, which is up here around 21. So 1950 first level and then 21 next level. The chart looks good. It looks really tight, meaning you can take it and have little risk on the play. You can have your stop loss really close. Put your stop loss under this line, wait till it breaks 1950 for entry, and then add through 2150 is how I would play Arrival. Move on to Palantir, which I do every single day almost, aftermarket. So Palantir is a really simple chart. What it is it broke down. Why did it break down? We had that huge run when Cathie Woods was buying it. Everyone was buying growth stocks. Then the market pummeled growth stocks. Nothing changed on Palantir. Their earnings are great. They're assuming that they're going to have 30%, or they said in their earnings that they're going to have 30% revenue growth year over year, every single year for the next 5 years. So the company is great. I'm very, very bullish on them long term. I think the stock will go to $50 by the end of the year. I think it'll actually go over $100 if you wait a couple of years. So I'm holding equity in this one. I will never sell it. I'll DCA into it. But for right now, there's a big supply right up top, right where we are. So right now it's difficult. I think Ricky jumped into equity. A couple other people jumped into equity. I have equity. Right now, this is all supply. Between $20 and $22.50, this is all supply zone. So like I told you before it was demand. Whenever the price dipped into this range, people would buy it and send it back up. See, It would come down, people would buy it, send it back up. It would come down, buy it, send it back up. And this time there wasn't enough buyers because they all bought these 3 dips. So it just broke the support. Earnings were very, very good. We had a gap down because they hate growth, but they bought it up anyways, and they brought it back into the supply zone. So right now we have a ton of supply to chew through. If we get over 2250, I think we see a huge move on Palantir. After 2250, you go to 25. After that, you go up here to 2750. So as soon as you get to 2250, that's a big supply zone that we broke through, and that's when we start having lots of fun in this one. That's when I start jumping in weekly options a lot. So that's AMD. We got Ford. I think this was option sniper call. I had it before. I didn't believe in it. I sold it. Don't really care. But yeah, we have to adjust this channel a little bit. And as you see, this is really, really bullish. We broke through it. They had a terrible earnings. This is where I sold, I think. The earnings were terrible. We gapped down. Like we've seen on so many names, after earnings, we gapped down, and it defended the support. You see how it defended the bottom resistance or support line? Perfectly to the penny. And then it started going sideways, boring. Then they announced that F-150, and then we started going. Broke the top resistance, came back down inside of it, which was a shakeout right here. Shook out all the bulls that bought this day. It shook them out, and then today, big gap up. So right now, Ford has to hold this gap. Ford's low today was 1230. Yesterday's high was 1221. So we don't want to see Ford go under today's low, which is 1230. You want to see it hold 1230, and you want to see it take out 1270-ish. You can see right here. So you want to see it hold 1230 and get above 1269 and close above 1269. Once it does that, that's super bullish for Ford, and I do think they will do it. It's a good company, and Biden's been pumping them, so there's nobody better to pump stocks than the President of the United States, you know? We have Target. Target, super blowout earnings. They crushed everything. Retail, blah, blah, blah. They gapped up. Chart looks solid. Everything looks good. Zoom out to the weekly real quick. Everything's bullish. Everything is bullish. But as you can see here, the RSI is getting a little bit overbought. We can still have one last push up, but I would not buy up here. If you're already in, I would hold it. But if you're not in yet, you're kind of late, just a little bit. Could push up a little bit more, but as you see here on the daily, every time it gets overbought a little bit, it has a 3 or 4 day pullback right here, all right? Here's overbought a little bit, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 day pullback, all right? So just keep an eye on that. Other than that, the chart is really bullish. You see right here, it did run higher. So the RSI went all the way up to 83 on target. And as soon as it went to 83, it pulled back for 5 straight days. All right, so just keep an eye out, look at patterns, go back in time, see what's happening. You see right here, another one, RSI is overbought, big pullback. So you got to get in these ones early, and you got to hold them. You don't want to get up here where they're almost overbought, and you have maybe 1-2 days of follow through. You want them way before that. But the earnings were great. They have a dividend, solid stock, bullish. I would not short it. I would not long it here. All-time highs. And if you're in it already, I would just put my stop loss under today's low. Let it consolidate, and then wait for your entry again. That's how I would trade it personally. But again, if you want to jump in, go for it. We got IQV. IQV is a beautiful chart. I think the Nuge sent me this today. It's a very nice bull flag. You got that big run. You got a nice little bull flag breakout right here. The only thing I did not like about this when I looked at it is the low volume on the breakout. This little bar right here. I wish there was more volume on this breakout. But everything looks good other than that. As you can see, those 2 little red lines, that's where I was trying to buy it way back in the day. That's where I bought IQV. Right here. And obviously I got rid of it, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is a beautiful chart. There's just straight up bull flags, straight up sideways, straight breakout. You got the RSI. You see what I mean about the RSI? Look how it got way overbought. And then slowly it just consolidated. And then you wait for your entry and you jump in. So right now the RSI is at 67. You still have a little bit of room to play with. This is a beautiful chart. I like this breakout. IQV done. ANAT. ANAT is parabolic. This could be a short actually. So what I would do here on ANAT is, since it's so overbought, due for consolidation, I would draw my support line like this. As soon as it breaks down from support here, I would short it back down to the moving averages. And not just the 12-day moving average, you have to wait till the 26-day moving average catches up as well. So right now, leave it alone, don't long it, don't short it, because these blue sky breakouts, they can go on forever. Wait till it breaks the support line, and then you can jump in short. That's all there is really on ANAT. This thing's not going away. Okay, go to snow now. That's a lot of, what is that? All right, so as I told you right on the post-market recap, snow had a big level here. You see all these supports. Every time it came down to 230.25, it had support, 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 support. Over here, it broke through it, and then it struggled around the support right here. Support turned into resistance. It was hard for it to get through. Kind of played around with it a little bit. Came down, full on dump, and then full rip. So right now, we're waiting for snow to take out 230.25 with volume. Today, it closed above. So that's a very good sign. But now, the next level that we need to see from snow is this 243.50. As soon as it gets to 243.50, this thing is gonna fly, because there's so many shorts in snow right now. And as soon as they get stopped out at 243.50, they're dead. Like, they're gonna have to start covering, and this thing's gonna rip. So everything is all about the earnings. May 26th, I think it's next week. I don't think it will get through this 243.50 until earnings. And if earnings are good, then we can gap through it maybe. But until then, I think we just consolidate. But we'll see what happens. You might have a pre-earnings pre-earnings run up too. So we're just going to wait on this one. It's a little bit, it's 4 straight days up. A very good trader taught me when I was first starting. He said never buy a stock that has 3 straight gap ups. So if a stock gaps up 3 straight days, you never buy that stock. That's what he told me. And I've lived by that rule, and I've always followed that rule, and it's worked for me. So maybe it's something you want to write down or just remember. Go on to the next one. Get out of my way. Alright, we're going to shop. Shop is a beautiful chart. I was telling Ricky how much I love this chart today. I don't know why I sold my lottos. Might roll into further out dates. I'm just waiting for a pullback. So you got the weekly range here. This is a weekly chart. There's a very clean range between 1105 and 875. See, it's just in the range, equilibrium. This can happen to any stock. This is what me and Ricky say. That you can go sideways for weeks and weeks and weeks. Each candle is 1 week. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.5 months we went sideways on snow before getting our breakout. Once we broke out, it started holding the top resistance. It turned into support. Then we dumped back into the channel, which is very bearish. But what happened is, instead of coming back down to the bottom support, it formed a new support here at 1021.57, or you can say 1021, whatever you want, 1022. That range became a demand zone. So every time shop dipped here, they bought it up. They bought it up between 1105 and 1021. They kept buying it. That's where everyone wanted it, and that's where they got it. Now I'll move to the daily. Look how clean this support is. Every time it's tested it 3 times, every time it's ripped off that one. And right here, it ripped off the previous support of 1105. So right now in shop, we're curling up. But remember what I told you, you never want to buy 3 gap ups in a row. This has 4 gap ups in a row. So it's your choice. I just want to see a little bit of consolidation right here. Not even to the purple line, just a little bit of consolidation, and then rip to new highs, which would, at first you got to take out 1300, and then all-time highs are 1450-ish. Yeah, 1500. So you want 1300 and then 1500 are the next resistances. But if it keeps going up tomorrow, it's likely to pull all the way back to the support again, just because it's gone too far too fast. But that Google news is big news, so it could happen. Why are there so many shorts in snow? So snow, it's an IPO and it's overvalued. So what's happening in the market right now is they're killing growth names. So if you know what a PE is, it's price to earnings or price to sales. A lot of the companies in the stock market right now, they're being valued like 20x their sales 10 years from now. So if Snow is saying in 2030 we're gonna make $20 billion, that's what they're valued at right now. So they just crushed all those names. They went into value. So like Facebook, Amazon, Google, they turned into value names actually in this cycle because they actually have the earnings today to match their price to earnings. The rest of these companies like Snow, Shop, Jumia, Ozon, those kinds of companies, they're getting crushed because they're getting valued like they're already a perfect company 5 years from now, when really nobody knows what's going to happen 5 years from now. So that's why Snow is crushed. Snow is so overvalued. We'll go on to, no problem, Carson. We got AMD here. We'll go to the weekly chart because this is just a beautiful chart. It's a beautiful setup. I sent this like 3 days ago, and you guys noticed how we were at a critical support on the weekly. The 73-74 area on AMD is critical support. Why do I say that? Because back in September, back in October, November, we tested this support so many times. In March, we tested it. In April, we tested it. And now in May, we're testing it again. So if they did not release that news on the buyback, AMD and Lisa Su, the CEO, she knows that this chart's going to break down. These CEOs, they have whole technical analysis teams watching their charts because there's billions and billions of dollars at play here. Why wouldn't they hire a couple analysts for like 100K? You know what I mean? So as soon as we got down to critical support, they announced the $4 billion share buyback. You think it's a coincidence? Because it's not a friggin' coincidence. They had to save their critical support on their charts, so they announced it. If they knew they were going to do a share buyback, why wouldn't they announce it on earnings? Like, they just had earnings. Why wouldn't they announce it? Because they know the market was weak. If they announced it right there, they could have, like, that's all their tricks they have. They have no more tricks. If it comes down to critical support, what do they do then? So they waited till it came down to a critical support. They announced the share buyback, and we ripped right off the support. And now people will be like, oh, news saved the chart, news saved the chart. No, 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 no. This is all planned. It's all games. It's all manipulation. You just have to learn to read it. You got AMD. So AMD looks great. We defended that support at 73.74 or 73.72 area. No, 73.74, sorry. And now we need a reversal. It's reversing over the moving averages right now. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It's trying to get over the 26-day, which is 78.10. And like I told you guys, when the shorter-term time frame moving averages are below the longer-term moving averages, that's a bearish trend. So right now, we're still in a bearish trend. We need the 12-day to cross over the 26-day. And when that happens, we change back to a bullish trend. Right now on AMD, I am looking for $80. We need to cross $80. And then after $80, we have to go to 84. 80, then 84 are the next levels in AMD. And then there's a huge resistance at 87. 87 was the weekly resistance, as you see here. Here, here. This one, just a fake out for the shorts to get the shorts out and then dump down. This one, another rejection, another rejection, another rejection. Finally got through, came back down and tested it again here. And as you see, it was another fake out here for the shorts. So whatever I tell you on the short side, when it goes below the support just to get your stop losses and get the longs out, it's the same thing at the top. It goes above the resistance, gets their stops, and then rips down. So they were right on the trade, but they get stopped out first. Okay, so we have, that's all the charts. So we have BBIG. Never heard of that one. Interesting. I mean, this Vinco what is that? Vinco. That's an interesting chart. Okay, what do we got next? We got Kando. What's Kando? That's not a chart, bro. Canoe? What the hell is a canoe? There you go. Goyev. Oh, I know this company. Ugh, pumping up. Gold and space. Okay, instead of GLD, I'll do GOLD because that's a position we're in currently. So And I know that chart like the back of my hand. It's the same thing. It's almost the same chart. So we'll go to BBIG, this Vinco Adventures. I don't know what this company does at all, but what I see on the chart here, you could say this is like a falling wedge kind of thing. Give me 1 second. This, and then you got... I would have drawn it like this. Had I seen this chart before, I would have drawn it like this. And it's just a falling wedge. Some of the best breakouts are through these falling wedges. So you got the breakout. I would have bought here on May 14th if I was to get into this one. If you really want to get into this one, again, the RSI is getting overbought. It's much more risky here. I would wait for a little pullback and then let it go. Or a little pullback, little bull flag, and then we'd watch it for continuation. Let's see if we can get a little more clarity on the 4 hour. Yeah, I would have just bought it through this falling wedge if I really like the company, but I don't even know what they do, so I'm not really interested. Even the 4 hours overbought. Usually the 4 hours are a really good indicator of overbought and oversold. If a stock is overbought or oversold on the 4 hour, I'm more confident in that position too. So that's all we have for that one. What else do we have? Did I not put in? Yeah, so I already did Palantir. All right, we got gold. So for the gold play I called out, why did I call out 2023? Because inflation is a real thing. They can hide it as long as they want. It's going to come out eventually. So what happens here in gold, look at this monthly breakout. This is a beautiful breakout. This is a very clean trendline break, and this is a monthly chart. So this is not a 1-2 day, 2 week, 3 week, 1 month play. This is a year-long play. And if you wait, you will see exactly what I mean on this one. A monthly breakout has a very high success rate. That's why my heaviest plays are into monthly breakouts, like this CVS. You guys remember this CVS? Very clean breakout. It was pointed out to me by Ricky. I think me and T jumped in it. As soon as we broke the trend line, look at this. It went sideways for 3 months, and then we got this rip. And it's going to keep going because this is a monthly breakout, all right? Same thing we're watching for on IBM. I don't know if Ricky exited his calls or not. But look at this monthly. Very clean trend line down. Just very clean where the bears are coming. As soon as we break this trend line on IBM, me and Ricky will load leaps. I'm sure he'll load them with me. We're just waiting for the breakout. Because if it rejects right here, it could possibly consolidate for months and months and months. If it gets over and it closes the month above this level, then we will see follow through, in my opinion, just like CVS, just like gold did. So that's just my thought on gold. I think gold will shoot up. And plus, gold is in Bitcoin. It's not going to lose 80% of its value in a day or whatever. So just hold it. SP. This chart is disgusting, man. Space chart is gross. That's why I sold it in the first place. I know the test run is a catalyst. Where the hell did this go? Alright. I know we sold it in the first place. But anytime a chart goes from 62, this is almost a $63 stock back in February, and it dumped all the way to $14. So let me do a little bit of math and tell you guys what that is. From 63 to 14. That's negative 80% just about. So when a stock drops 80% in 3 months, that chart is broken for years. I don't care if they do a test launch. I don't care if they do whatever the hell they want. Short term, sure, you can jump in, make some money, lottos, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, whatever. Like you guys did with the 10 bagger with Option Sniper. But this chart is broken for a long time now. It might take months, it might take years for this chart to recover. You just see this. It's like the same pattern. It's like a big spike, gives it all back. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Big spike, gives it all back. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Big spike, gives it all back. Big spike, gives it all back. So same thing's probably going to happen again. History tends to repeat itself. You might get a spike here, but this time the spike will be a dead cat bounce, in my opinion, unless the test flight goes well, or something fundamentally changes, the stock is dead for a long time. You can play lottos on it, play weeklies, whatever. You can't take a leap on it. You can't do anything like that yet, in my opinion. Until it gets through 27.55, then I would think about longer term positions. Just because 27.55, I already had the line drawn, so I must have seen something. Yeah, it's just this resistance here, 27.55, around there. So play your weeklies, play your lottos, play your 2 weeks, but don't. I would not buy long term yet, because this chart can come right back down to 14 and retest, and even go even lower. So we'll see. What else we got? We got Nvidia, Big C, and Frog. Don't worry, I'll do both. Big C. And Nvidia. What? Alright, so Big C, we will zoom out first. And we will see that the chart is almost at all-time lows. That's an ugly chart. That's a falling knife right there. So weekly doesn't show me anything at all. Daily, you could say this is a falling wedge, kind of, if you really like the company. Yeah, so you could draw it like this. It's not even a falling wedge. That's just support. So you have a clear support here on the daily. If it goes underneath that, sell it. If it stays on top of that. If it gets back down here, you can buy it off support and put a stop loss underneath. But I mean, I don't really see anything special about this chart. Even the bounce was pretty weak, in my opinion. If you see the drop, it dropped from $61 all the way down to $42. So that's a 20-point drop, and it bounced for like 6 straight days, and it's only bounced up to 51. So it's like halfway through. If this bounce went all the way back up here, I would be interested. But right now this is dead money. If you want to put money in here, then you're just gambling basically. You have no edge here. Until it gets through $60, I would not touch this stock. Unless it comes back down to support, you can get a tight risk entry with a stop loss below the support. But other than that, until it gets up to $60, I'm not touching it. Go to Frog. Frog is also another company like Snow. There's a ton of shorts in here because it's way overvalued. The weekly chart is way oversold. Yeah, it's just ugly. It's a falling knife here. Let's go back to the daily, see if we can find something for you. It's tough, man. There's not really anything I see on this, except maybe a descending channel. Another stock that's not for me. Until the stock market tells us that they want to buy growth, like there's been 2 days where we want to buy growth. We've been dumping growth for like almost 2 months. So I don't know. Once the market shows me like a week or two of strength and growth names, then I'll jump in names like this. But until then, right now, I'm still avoiding them. But this one's pretty decent. I mean, you could have bought off support. It is what it is. Sell at resistance unless it breaks through. Got Nvidia. Nvidia is clean. I love this chart. As I was telling Option Sniper today, I was showing him the chart. It's a very clear descending channel. Very clear support. Very clear resistance. And a very clear breakout today on good volume. Decent volume. So we got the breakout. We got the retest of the descending channel down at 570. And we closed almost at the high of the day, showing super strength. So 584.50 was the close, and 587 was the high. So we almost closed right at high of day. We broke the resistance clean. So Nvidia is poised to follow through. I think Nvidia will follow through to 600 or so. The earnings are next week with Snow, I believe. I think Raju was telling me. And yeah, looks like a solid chart right now. This is a good chart. We got SFT. SFT, do CCL. And we'll do CrowdStrike. and then I'll go over my thoughts for next week on the market, and we'll wrap it up. I will do a more detailed one soon, guys. I'm sorry. Boogie and Pinder are leaving today. I completely forgot. They're leaving to the airport tomorrow morning, so we wanted to go out, spend the last day together. But we'll go SFT first. What is this? Shift Technologies. I've never heard of this one. Why is my computer so slow? Okay. I don't see anything here, man. Do you know what do you see on this, Ilya? I don't really see anything on this chart at all. Just looks like a bear flag. Big dump, and then sideways to cool off the RSI. Just a bear flag until it takes out. This would be the range. If you really like this company, I would put this as the range for it. So that would be the range for SFT. Made a quick 100. Yeah, so these kind of charts, you can make a quick money, quick lottos, whatever. But if you want to play it long term, you have to wait till it gets out of the range. That's just like, yeah. So under 731, I would short it. Over 780, I would long it. But until then, it's just in an equilibrium, and you can make your money quickly, whatever, scalp, whatever. But long term, there's no pattern on here to trade right now. Go to cybersecurity. Stock's been on fire. Crowd is great. I love this company long term. Crowd, my first buy on equity was at $60 on this. I bought it at 60. I bought more at 100, and then I was selling in the 160s, 180s here. And after I sold my equity, I immediately regretted it because it just ripped up a lot more. Formed this solid support at 200 psychological number. And then it broke underneath the 200 psychological number. So 200 is the number that you want to watch. Above 200 is a buy, in my opinion. Below 200 is a sell. And today was a very good entry on Crowd if you got it. You guys seen the flow that came into FEY today? FEY, or F-E-Y-E, is called FireEye. It's another cybersecurity play. I'm very, very bullish on F-E-Y-E, very bullish on CRWD, and I'm very bullish on NET. All cybersecurity stocks that I love for long term. You can start DCAing into equity if you really want them. But long term, I think these fly. I love CRWD. I love this SE long term. I will never sell this stock. And what else do I have here? And Shopify, I want to get in at a good price. It's still gapping. What else did we need? I did SFT. I did that. CCL. We're going to do Carnival Cruise Line. So this chart is not bad. If you ignore the news and ignore your opinion of what's happening and stuff, the chart itself is not bad. I think they don't even start operating till November. So if you just base it off that news, I would short it. But the weekly chart has just been higher, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we're looking if this is the higher low. So if that's the low right there, obviously this would be a great entry right now. And everything on this chart tells me it's bullish. If I didn't listen to the news, if I didn't know what's going on, if I'm just talking charts, this chart is very bullish. So you see this flag that's forming right now? It's big upward movement and then just sideways digesting move right here. So right now, if I was to play CCL, I would go long through 26 or 28.62, and I would go short under 24.29. So those are the only two levels that stand out to me here. As long as we're inside this wedge, there's no play on it. We have to wait for a breakout. If you don't wait for a breakout, then it's just gambling within the range right now. Because this potentially could go sideways all the way to like November when they actually open. Alright, so I'll just go into my next week and next month. So, like I've been telling you, I was very, very bearish. I caught myself a little bit. I caught myself getting a little too bearish, especially yesterday when I took that big hit on them SPY puts. But if you look at a monthly chart on SPY, I mean, this just tells you the story itself. So it's like, since last March when we had that dump, it's been straight up. We've had 2 months down, and right now, as bad as it's been, there's only been 1 month that's been down on this chart. In the long term, obviously SPY always goes up. So if you're a long-term investor, if you're young, you have a lot of time, you want to compound your gains, you can buy equity and just sit in it. It will, if you buy a good company and buy equity, and you know their valuation a little bit, just a little bit, because you don't want to buy way overvalued names and sit in them for 7 years while your money could have been made somewhere else. So names like Palantir and these kinds of names that I'm really bullish on, SE, CrowdStrike, NET, those kind of names, you can buy and sit in them at any price here because they're still undervalued in my eyes. They're fast growing, they're multiplying in value, they're getting more and more contracts. Like Palantir, for example, the government's giving them another contract. So those kind of stocks, to buy and hold equity is actually very, very smart instead of sitting cash, because you know the US dollar it's shit now. Like, it's completely useless with inflation. So you might as well sit in these solid companies and some equity, leave some money for hedging and for quick weekly plays, obviously, but the majority of your account should be in solid, long-term growing companies. And expecting next week. So yesterday really shook me up. Like, I was very bearish. Yesterday, it gave me the exact move I wanted, and then it reversed on me. So we got bullish again. So yesterday on the podcast, I was actually talking to Trish, and I told him that I turned back neutral. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know what's going to happen next month. I do see a top soon for SPY, but no one can call tops and bottoms in the market. So I'm just going to play it day to day right now. I'm not taking any long-term positions. I'm keeping it more 1 week, 2 week plays kind of, or even day trading just to gather cash. So when we do dump, I'm ready to DCA into my positions. So another thing I said on the podcast yesterday was, say I have 10 stocks in my portfolio, okay? Let's just open up this watch list. Let's say, not crypto. I don't want to show you guys crypto. I don't want to do that to you. Let's do this. Yeah, so this says October 15th, 2020, owned stocks. I had all these stocks at one point. And what happens is, if you own all these equities in your account, right? Let's say I have $100,000 in that account. I own all these stocks worth $50,000, and I have $50,000 cash. What I would do is I would put 10 or 20,000 into a hedge play. By a hedge, I mean either VIX. You got VIX. You can have SQQQ if you're heavy in tech. You can have VXX if you're just doing volatility again. You can have, name some other ones, bro. You know another one, Ricky? Ricky's not here?
Ricky's not here.
What else is there? I know so many, but I don't remember. Yeah, but you get the point. Like, you can have a hedge in them, and then at the same time, what happens is that hedge will protect you from downside. So if the market goes down, you cash in that hedge, and then you buy these stocks back cheaper. So you dollar cost average into whichever ones are your favorites. You get your average down with those hedges, and then when the market rips again, you just put that hedge on again. And you always remain at least 30% cash, in my opinion. 20 to 30% cash must be at all times. Don't go and invest all your money, because if tomorrow, Friday, which is very, very possible, we can dump straight down and you can destroy your whole week of good week that we had. So that's why I'm trying to always hedge up here, because I do see a top soon. I do see a dump soon. I don't think it's going to be as bad as everyone thinks. Like, it's never going to retest March lows, in my opinion. But we could pull back to March highs right here, which is 338. I know it sounds scary. We could also pull back to right here, 368. So on the way down, when it does consolidate, don't be surprised if your stocks lose all that money again. Just be ready. Just be prepared for anything. Anything can happen. And thank you guys for attending. I will see you guys tomorrow. It's called hedging, so it's like when the market goes down, that stock goes up. It's called SQQQ. That's for hedging against tech. Then you have VIX, which is a volatility index. That means if it gets volatile, that goes up. Then there's VXX, which is another volatility.
Okay, फिर दूसरा खरीद लो दूसरी वीडियो को कवर करने वास्ते.
Yeah, so if you have like 100 shares Facebook in your account,
तो
तो तुसी 100 shares VIX ਦਾ ਲੈ ਲਓ.
Okay.
It's just like protection. So if the market goes down, the VIX will go up, your Facebook will go down. Your Facebook will go down with the market, obviously.
Yeah.
The VIX will go up. Then you can sell that VIX and buy more Facebook cheaper. So it's like a hedge. Every single hedge fund manager does it. Everyone does it.